My name is Tori Temple, and I'm a new face on campus, and my job today is to introduce you to, or perhaps reintroduce you to, as the case may be, into a process that is considered one of the most efficient tools for increasing the efficiency and effectiveness of any school. And yes, I'm sure you've heard, it's all aboard the PLC train. Why am I doing this? I don't know, maybe because I'm the new guy. Let's have the new guy do this. But whatever the case is, you and I, we are going on a journey together. I know you're thinking, oh great, another nifty fix-all program, 10-step program, and you're gonna sprain an eye roll muscle. Yeah. But in all seriousness, I was one of those eye rollers, where it's the first time I was dragged through all of this DeFore PLC madness. At my last school, we had a fistful of people go to the PLC meetings, and they were gone for a few days, kind of like how we were. We did all the things that the PLCs are supposed to do. We also set up some norms and behavioral standards for how the group is supposed to operate. And we made SMART goals. We even set up the meeting norms to where if you were late, then you had to buy everybody else a 12-pack of Diet Coke. Now these assessments were summative, based on end of the year. Semester finals, we use those sometimes. And the common assessment element is a big part of the PLC analysis process. Our goals basically were a % increase here, 5% here, 10% here, things that we thought that we could do, and they were measurable so we could show that there were some results. However, after the initial couple of meetings, things just sort of fell apart. The PLC, which stands for Professional Learning Community, turned into Park It, Let's Chat. And we would get together and talk about things like, hey, so how are you doing? Where are you in the curriculum? What are you teaching next? And how are you teaching this? But there was no specific planning per se. Okay, so have we assessed something recently? Do we know anything about those results? And can we check with anyone to see if there's a different way of teaching it or a way to reteach it? We have a different approach because, well, if the data didn't come out right the first time, chances are probably won't the next time unless we change the approach. So what are some other things that people sort of misunderstood about the PLC process? Well, one of the things that they sort of assumed was the fact that the collaboration piece was entirely on new ways of teaching stuff, pedagogy. Hello everyone, this is my pedagogy. It's a weird word. Well, focusing on teaching, which is good, and that's part of the process, but it's just, that's not where it stops. However, that's where it stops for most departments, because that's the part that deals with the teacher. We are pretty good, generally speaking, and I say we teachers, are pretty good about the collaboration for teaching stuff. This is that transition into the learning spectrum. That's where most PLCs and most schools kind of drop the ball. The focus that we need to kind of look at, the focus is on the learning part. The part where you're assessing what did they actually learn. And once you figure out what they've learned, and then the question becomes, how are you going to help the kids that didn't? It kind of seems like this PLC process sort of fumbles around a little bit. And this is why they call it an educational practice. Now the PLC produces a frame by which we can structure this educational reform. And oftentimes these transformational situations, they take a long time actually. And it's not like we're in any rush. As a matter of fact, they were talking about the school that is sort of like the Mecca, the holy land of PLCs. That took them 5 years. It took a lot of time to figure out, well, how are we going to teach this? What are we going to teach this? And in what order are we going to teach this? And then making the proper, and here's the key word, formative assessment. They could get some feedback on it and then adjust. It's amazing how that last part becomes such a key portion. So many times what we do is we want to make these tests and we go, okay, so boom, we have a chapter test. Oh, it looks like everybody failed. Well, that's a bummer. Okay, on to chapter 6. The PLC process involves formative assessments. We want to know where they're at, figure out how to adjust. Then you can get into a place where they can then retest. All right, so now what? It's you and me and us, and where do we go from here? I've been thinking a lot about how we can take some large strides into doing what we do, but better. Now, okay, so where do we start? Let's not just jump right into the assessment making journey. I think where we need to start is we really kind of pull back and start at the beginning. But with the beginning is where we figure out, okay, what and how are we going to teach stuff? I know with the Common Core stuff and everything changing, that could take a while. The science, the NGSS stuff is changing like right now. Textbooks, there's no curriculum for this stuff. People are like, oh, what do I do? So this is why it may take a few years to be able to hone things down. But the goal is that we're all kind of heading in that same direction together. So today, what I'm gonna have you do after you've done watching this amazing production, I've created a website, and the website is listed right here. Talk about this out loud, you can process it together, you can process it individually. So go to your department, and then you'll create a new post. Think about it, maybe sketch it on some paper, and then write what you think would be really awesome. All you gotta do now is type in the website address. It's located right here. Your next step will be located on the front page of that website.